What's up, everybody? It's me, the BXG, DXG of Comedy Fight Club, the big dog of Comedy Fight Club, here with Comedy Fight Club Confidential. And with me, I have my co-host, who is doing a character.
Arr, that's right. It's me, a famous pirate roast battler, Patrick Haggerty. I'm here to swashbuckle you roast battlers and show you a good time.
You're gonna swashbuckle him. I don't understand why you're doing this.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Mark Henley. You know, Mark, I love being here. My cousin Patrick Haggerty couldn't be here, but I, Patrick Haggerty, am happy to fill in. Me and Patrick, our mothers are related, which is why our last names are different, although they are fairly similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that your names are not the same thing, but that they rhyme still. It's a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah.
Do you have roast battles on the sea?
Oh, we sure do, and I have a great joke for you if you'd like to hear it.
I guess.
Why couldn't the pirate get into the movie?
It was rated R.
That's right, it was rated R, and I love movies to be rated NC-17 because I love vaginas.
Hell yeah, that's one thing we agree on, Patrick Haggerty? Is that the name?
That's right, Patrick Haggerty. Unfortunately, I can't stay for long, but it was very nice catching up with you, Mark.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh my God, Patrick Haggerty.
Yeah.
What's up?
Not much. I'm sorry I missed the beginning. I hope my cousin filled in okay. I'm happy to be here. Patrick Haggerty here at Comedy Fight Club Confidential. Man, I am so glad that I have family who looks after me. I think that's important for all of us.
Yeah, because the one thing about Comedy Fight Club is we're all about family. And especially making fun of each other's families for their deficiencies in raising us. That's a big part of it. You know, if you have like a dead mom, people are going to talk about it. If you've got a fat mom or a fat dad or a gay dad, people are going to say it. And that's what it is. Because at Comedy Fight Club, it's about having a family, but then also paying for your family. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. That could be a good thing for Project Comedy Mayhem is gay dad versus fat dad. And do you think that you would feel comfortable playing gay dad? That could be a good main event, gay dad versus fat dad.
Yeah, hey, as long as I want to play fat dad, I'm all for it. I've been my fucking hat's breaking. I think part of my hat did break.
Oh,
whatever.
wow. Yeah.
We'll figure that out later. Yeah, no, I think that we could do that, I guess. We haven't done a Project Comedy Mayhem in a while. How come?
Yeah, last one was at the Fitborough Comedy Festival. It looks like your hat broke. I guess what they say is true that you have a big head these days, huh? You're a little bit too big for your britches and your hats. Oh, yeah, it's good. You just got to pop it into place. Project Comedy Mayhem. Yeah, we'll have it anytime anybody wants. Usually you're the one who wants it. So usually I'm like mulling, just going about my day, and then Mark says, "Hey, can you do another Project Comedy Mayhem and have it be rape versus genocide?" And I'm like, "All right, I do enjoy doing that." So yeah. So when's the next time you want it? Is the question.
We'll see. I want to go on record as saying I was not behind the idea of having a comedy fight, Project Comedy Mayhem, rape versus genocide battle. For those that don't know, we have a spin-off show on the channel called Project Comedy Mayhem. Check it out. They're wild. I think sometimes they go too far off the rails, but if you're ever in there in person, they're great. One of the ones we had on the YouTube channel, all-time great hang at Project Comedy Mayhem. We were all like hitting cans with baseball bats and stuff, and getting banned from that venue. It was fucking great. It was a good time. It was a classic hang. But we got a big show coming up this week. At Friday, we're going to be going to the Emmaus Theater. So if you're around or near Emmaus, Pennsylvania, please come check it out. It's a big venue. We want to try to get it as close to filled out as possible. And It's gonna be wild. Have you been to the Emmaus Theater yet?
No, I haven't. And one last thing on Project Comedy Mayhem, we have been banned from more places than not. We normally get banned from whatever place we do that we do that show at. So that's a little point of reference for Project Comedy Mayhem. Emmaus Theater, I don't think I have. You've said that a few of there's been battles there, or maybe just people who have performed there previously.
Yeah, the Emmaus Theater, it fits like a few hundred people. So it's a big theater, and they have like touring headliners. They have like Kurt Metzger and people like that performing there. But then they've also have roast battles once a month or so, and they'll have like a bunch of different battles. I did it against Nick Fierro, and we're gonna go film a comedy fight club there. And we've done a few theater shows which are very odd because they usually comedy fight club's like a small club thing. And anytime we get into a theater, it can be interesting. Like we had this theater in Jersey called the Denellen Theater. And do you remember, you headlined that? What do you remember about the Denellen Theater?
The Denellen Theater was cool because the people, it was full. The one that I did against Fluke Human was nice and full. It was a really nice turnout. And I think the people there, I think anytime you see a show that's named Comedy Fight Club, you have some idea what's going to happen. And Matt does, and you and Matt actually both do a really good job of letting people know, like, just chill, everybody be cool. We're gonna be saying some stuff, and so people are built up to acknowledge that. Two things. So they were cool. In many ways, but in the sense that they were cool, they were just like actively angry at every moment. Where anything that happened, there was like actual like anger and vitriol coming from the crowd, which is a good thing. That's what we want at a comedy fight club.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of so the Denellen Theater there's a bar that also had a movie theater attached to it. And I guess many years prior, the movie theater had gone out of business, but the bar didn't for some reason. So the bar would have like ambush comedy shows inside the bar where you would go there and perform for the people at the bar, and they would be angry at you, but that's what it would be. And then eventually the guy producing the ambush shows there was like, what if we had them in the theater? So then he would produce shows there that sometimes had a good turnout, sometimes it would be very few people in a giant theater, and that's kind of what it was. And then the first two fight clubs we did there had pretty good turnouts, and it was interesting because it was like all people from the town, so they hadn't seen roast battles before. So like once they got on board, they got very passionate about it, and if they didn't feel like their favorites was going to win, they would get very angry at what was going on. Like they would get real into it. And you main evented the first one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I main evented against Fluke, and like you said, and actually we kind of talked about this last time, where real people, when they watch roast battles, the idea of them getting into it is different than comedians getting into it. Comedians getting into a roast battle, they kind of want to be part of the show. The audience getting into the roast battle is, I want to see this person get killed. Like they actually create like a story in their mind of anger, and there's actually some meanness to what they're doing, like a little snarling action. I main evented against Fluke, and Fluke Human is a great roaster. I went against him and did my dog shit, and but it went really well. My dog shit often goes very well. Go.
But not at first. The first round, they were like warming themselves up to boo you, and then your second round, because they I think thought you didn't write jokes, and then your second round, you like clearly had that all written, so they were like, and they laughed at it, so they were like, we begrudgingly accept that this is. You wrote this,
right?
But like they were still rooting for Fluke the whole time.
Yeah, because I was going against Fluke Human, and I defined what a fluke is, like the fish. I defined what a fish, and I defined what a human is, and he can't be both. You can't be both a fluke and a human. That's ridiculous. Which I think that I did a service to the crowd that night by letting them know what a fish and a human have in contrast, as opposed to in common. Remember, what is it? Compare and contrast. Remember that from school? That's important. So I let people know about that. But yeah, the theater shows. Have we done other theaters that you can think of?
Just like the three Denellen shows, we had the one that you main evented. That we had another one with a great turnout where like we had like one woman on the show, and then when she finally came out, all of the women in the audience were like, "That's our girl," and like really getting behind her. And they got so behind her that some of the guys in the audience turned against her. Yeah. It got so passionate there. And then the third one we did, almost no one came out and was very sad for all of us. And that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
We were like, this is only getting better. And the third one, very low attendance, and we're just like, let's never do this again. So we're hoping we get a good attendance for this. We have Ilya Laxon versus Divya Gunasekaran, who are two of our best roast battlers. We're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to go to Waffle House beforehand, and no one can take that away from us. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a fun time if you're in the area. But tonight we have a different show. We're at Eastville Comedy Club. The last time we did Eastville, someone almost died. Remember this?
That person died. That was not almost. There was no almost about it. That person definitely died. Yeah. No, I do remember that. I was gonna bring that up too. The fact that we the last time we were at Eastville, someone died, and it was during COVID. So they must have died from COVID. No, they died from getting hit by a car. That's how they died.
Yeah, someone got hit by a car in front of Eastville, and then the whole just 45 minutes before the show, just all these ambulances coming, picking the person up and getting them going. But a lot of people had already sat down, so they hadn't even seen that someone had been killed right outside. Mm-hmm. So it didn't fully ruin the vibe of the show, which you think would put a damper on a comedy show, is someone getting killed in front of everybody. Yeah. But a lot of them had already been seen, so mostly only the comics came in knowing that a death had been visited upon us. So hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. It was early but in the night where only the comedians had shown up. So there were just a bunch of comedians standing right next to a crime scene that had to do with someone being killed. So there were a lot of there was a lot of whispering of very inappropriate jokes going on during this time. I went up to you actually after everyone was kind of like aware of what happened, and I went up to you. And I said, well, I guess all things considered, I'm just glad that it happened. and you said, why? But in a joking way. It was very funny. And I think that's when we fell in love. I think that. Yeah.
So for the first time, we fully knew each other's souls. And but yeah, we're going back to Eastville tonight. We're gonna have a hopefully equally memorable time. This time we're gonna have the finals of the tournament. Whoever wins tonight is going to face Ben in a future main event when he has time. That's what we're gonna do. That's when it's gonna happen. Ben is going to England and doing all sorts of other things. So his eyes might not be on the prize anymore. We have to see, is he going to be as focused as he can to defeat one of these very difficult contenders? I think all four people that are still in the tournament are definitely dangerous. Ben may be vulnerable to attack from any of them. Mm-hmm. So let's go into it. The first of the semifinals is going to be Malia Simon versus Caroline Haynes. What do you think about them?
Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking about that one in the sense that I feel like Malia Simon is meaner. I feel like Malia Simon has when she roasts, there's an actual hatred for the other person that comes out. But they are very good close friends. So we'll see if that hatred comes through. Whereas I think that Caroline Haynes, very funny, comes in with very good jokes, but it's more of like you're a bitch, whereas Malia Simon's like, I hate your whole family, so there's a little bit more of an anger that's going towards it. So I definitely feel a little stronger about Malia Simon coming in with that natural anger. So I'm leaning towards her going into the fight.
Yeah, the big thing to note with this battle is that they didn't want this to happen. They specifically did not want to go against each other. Matt put them far-ish away from each other on the bracket. He almost put them on other sides of the bracket so that they would only face each other in the finals, but this is the semifinals. They're going to have to go against each other. They're going to have to go to battle. These sisters, they're not going to be able to support each other this time. They're going to have to go for each other if they want to get ahead. That being said, while both are very good, I think I gotta lean Caroline is gonna win because Caroline last week did something that a lot of people thought she couldn't do, which was she beat an official King of New Jersey. She beat the most toughest New Jersey roast battler from the year 2022, and that is very difficult to do. A lot of people couldn't do it. Gina Hyena couldn't do it. Almost anyone else in the tournament that's already been eliminated probably couldn't have done it either. I'm gonna go on record as saying that. So I think that the experience of being in there with a comedy fight club king of New Jersey has probably only made her stronger.
Yeah, that's you have to have the respect. You're a former king of New Jersey as well, so you have to have that respect for someone who beat a king of New Jersey. I'm gonna go with Malia Simon. I think Malia Simon comes in with a -3 point differential, and I think that I'm gonna go with the spread and give it to Malia Simon. I think Malia Simon is gonna win the battle and win the audience vote. Who do you think's gonna win the audience vote?
I think I'm gonna go with Caroline as well. I think that I don't know that those questions are different enough.
But you never know. It's like in Harry Potter. Like sometimes you could win the golden snitch but lose. So you're probably gonna win the fight if you win the audience vote, but it's not necessarily the case. So someone might win the audience vote and lose the battle.
Yeah. My feeling on the Harry Potter Quidditch game is if you're the seeker and you see that you're far enough behind in points that if you catch the snitch, you end the game, you're a goddamn fool to catch the snitch. At that point, you keep an eye on it, you follow it, and you hope that your team can rally. And so anyone that catches the snitch while in a 150-point deficit, fucking check yourself. Fucking get it together.
But what if they're miles away looking for the golden snitch and they're not anywhere near the scoreboard? That's because they can go anywhere for the golden snitch.
Isn't it all stay in the arena? I feel like it all stays in the arena.
No, the golden snitch can go anywhere. That's the point of the golden snitch, is that it can go anywhere.
Yeah, but inside the arena, I don't think it goes outside the arena.
You fucking idiot. No.
You're being a real Draco Malfoy. I'm just trying to be Harry and you be Ron. And instead, I'm Harry and you're Crabe, you're Goyle, you're Draco, you're everyone from Slytherin.
Yeah, you might be right. But what I think of the golden snitches in that game where that they used to play in college, where it's just people on broomsticks and running around. The golden snitch could go anywhere on campus, so they could run literally anywhere.
Did you play actual Harry Potter in?
No, I didn't. But I had friends who did, and I didn't fully disrespect them for it. So,
which Harry Potter character do you think you're most like?
My favorite was Ron. I was always a Ron guy. Yeah, he had red hair, and I have a best friend who has red hair.
Okay, which would make you more of a Harry, but
right.
I always associated most with the fat guy from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The fat guy that gets the hot girl.
Right.
That should be me.
Yeah. Well, he's an American, so you go because you just love America so much. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Jonna Jota versus Miles Toe. That's a good one. We got, as I said last week, Jonna Jota, definitely a technical roaster, a strong nuts and bolts roaster. Jonna Jota is, and you have Miles Toe, who is kind of a power threat. He's an action guy. Now I have a theory that Miles Toe is at his strongest at the stand. I think that at the stand he's close to unbeatable, and I would say that at other venues there's more openings. He has more he has some weak spots that you can exploit. He's a great roaster. But I think that at Eastville Comedy Club, he doesn't have his full powers. So I would think Jonna Jota would be able to edge him out for that fight tonight.
Yeah, it's tough because Jonna Jota won. He won second place the last tournament. I think Jonna Jota really wants to win. I think Ben wants to face Jonna Jota. I think he would. Jonna Jota feels like he probably should be the next Comedy Fight Club champion. I think he is that good and is that dedicated to roast battling and is so aggressive. Miles Toe, though, would be a really fun winner of this entire tournament because he's so aggressive. It would be like a very out of nowhere win where he kind of he'd done a few battles. He had a really great battle at the last Halloween Fight Club against Otter Lee, where he was Tiger Woods black half versus the Asian half, and that was a really wild battle. And he had a really wild main event against Lawrence Reese. If you ever watched that one, check that one out. That's a really, really great battle, him and Lawrence. So I think Miles is still a little bit unproven, whereas I think Jonna Jota is very proven. So part of me kind of wants to see what Miles can do in there and what he would do against Ben if he got in there, because they're such different energies. But John versus Ben has been kind of a while in taking. So I'm not sure who I think should win. I kind of want to go Miles because I think it's better if we side against each other. But I gotta go. It's probably John that's probably going to win. John is probably still the favorite, and Miles should be going into this, as spoken by us, as the underdog.
Yeah. John and Joda is the chalk pick. He was kind of the chalk pick going into the whole tournament. Yeah. You saw John and Joda's name. With Divya not in it, it's like, oh well, John and Joda is the next in line without a doubt. He's the second coming of both Jesus and Ben Miller, with both Jews and both strong, handsome Jews. John and Joda is he's definitely I would love to see that, because John and Joda and Ben Miller are basically the same person. Just they're like a video game character when you press when you press R on the button and it like just change. Well, it's kind of like Ryu and Ken. Are they the ones with the same moves but they're different characters? Yeah. So that's them. So yeah, John and Joda. And this one, actually, to go back to what we were saying before, I believe that Miles Toe will win the audience vote, but that John and Joda will win the battle.
I could see that a little bit. I could see a scenario play out where Miles has the hearts of the people, but all of the judges kind of go, you know what? John's jokes were better. Sometimes you have the judges step in and kind of like override the audience like that. So I think that is possible to happen. But again, I think John and Joe has probably got it overall. And then once you get to the finals, it's unpredictable from there. We don't really know who the finals are going to be, but it's all going to play out tonight. We're going to cast a third and fourth. Who do you think, if John is the favorite, who do you think is his toughest competition from the other side of the bracket?
Well, I think John's going to win, and I think Malia's going to win on that. So I'd say that's going to be the finals. I'm going with my picks, and that's going to be the finals. It's going to be John versus Malia. And I think that John might win handily. I think that might be a strong one. That's why we're here. We're just this is some sports talk radio kind of stuff. I think John is it's gonna be a potentially tough first battle, and then the second battle I think he might have it. And then for the third place, it would be Caroline versus Miles Toe. I'll go Caroline. I'll give Caroline the win, but Miles is so good. It's tough. I remember one time I was in the finals one time for the Comedy Fight Club championship, which meant that I was just one of two battles, and I had to write jokes for three people in the same way, and I could have either been first, second, third, or fourth. And I remember looking at it, the battles before everything happened, and I said, oh, so someone's going to lose twice. That'd be really funny if it were me. It'd be really funny if I was the one who lost twice. So someone's got to lose twice. Someone's going to win twice. Two people are going to go 1-1. But yeah, I think John and Joda is going to be the champ overall for sure.
Yeah, I think John has matches up well against Malia and Caroline. I think Miles matches up a little bit tougher against both of them because they're both so likable. So it'll be difficult to see for him to pull it out. That could be a scenario also where like either Malia versus Miles or Caroline versus Miles, where like the judges vote for Miles and the audience votes for the woman. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. And then we've got the main event, which I'm also very excited for, which is Brandon Puff versus Chris Alio. Brandon Puff is maybe at this moment my favorite roast battler. It used to be Mike Kramer, who is this old man that did clowning that would scream at everybody. But Mike isn't as much in the game anymore. Puff is still in the game. Puff has teamed up with me in roast battles and character battles. We've gone against each other in character, and then we've also done a main event against each other. So Puff is one of the most creative roast battlers around. I think really tries his best to do something unique each time. He's told me a little bit about what he's got planned for tonight, and it's one of my favorite character things that he does. So I'm excited to see Puff. But Chris Alio is a Philadelphia comic, and you've gone to war with Philadelphia before, right?
Oh yeah, I go to war with Philadelphia on a regular basis. I think I've won them over mostly, but at one point it was like, oh, I think Philadelphia hates me and I hate them back. I think there's an actual dislike that I have for the people of Philadelphia. But it's gotten to the point where that's flipped, and now I only hate their sports fans. So it's a little bit different. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Puff do his thing. Puff the Magic Dragon, as they call him back at home. Brandon Puff, you said that he teamed up with you in the past. He just recently teamed up with Matt Marin against me at a character roast for a Star Wars roast, and that was rough for me. I mean, they were amazing. They were really good, and I did my thing. I did all right, but they were really good. And Puff is me and him have never gone against each other. He is definitely among the preeminent alt roast battlers, and then Matt Marin is probably the best roast battler of all time. And I was going against both of them, so I was like, oh shit, this is really tough. This is really hard. Yeah, but it was actually funny because I had never gone against Matt either. That was the first time I'd ever gone against him, and I was thinking, I was like, oh wow, he's really good. He's like good at everything. He's like good at the normal stuff. He's good at the kind of funky stuff. Yeah, but and then having Brandon Puff as his teammate was a little bit like Babe Ruth teaming up with like Ken Griffey Jr. So that was tough. But yeah, I don't know this guy Chris Elio very well, but he's a Philly guy. He's probably mean, and he's probably going to do real well. And I think that it's that one's going to be really good because Puff, similar to me, does kind of a wacky style in his roasting, and I know that stuff works really, really well when the other guy's really good. And so Chris Elio, I'm rooting for him hard, and I would imagine since he's from Philly, he's going to be really funny.
Yeah, the Philadelphia roast scene, I think, is probably the second best roast scene I've ever seen. New York is still the best. Come on, you gotta give it up for New York. But Philadelphia is very tough. If a New York battler goes to Philadelphia to face them, generally I think the Philly guy wins because they're also very loyal to their people in a way that New York just isn't. Yeah. New York doesn't care. Like they'll vote for like an out of town or over and in town or like in a second. But in Philadelphia, they've got like a lot of pride in there, so they have a very competitive roast battle scene. So anyone that comes from there, they're going to do good. They always generally have a good showing in the main event. So Puff's got a difficult task ahead of him, but he's so creative that I think he might still do it. And also, this is in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is definitely the home of alt comedy. So he should be ahead of things. But yeah, Philadelphia, I think, second best roast scene, and then maybe. The UK scene when I was in Scotland, that was pretty good. And then maybe after then that and Chicago, I think are probably similar. Mm-hmm. And then like even though I book it and can maybe do better, Jersey and Connecticut are probably. Yeah,
I think so. Number one for me, St. George, Utah. That's that's number one roast battle scene for me. Then it goes Louisville, Kentucky. Probably all their strippers are really good at doing roast battles. We did a comedy show at a strip club, honey. It wasn't my girlfriend's in the next room. But yeah, I mentioned how we fell in love when I did that joke. Really, where we fell in love was at a strip club. At a strip club in Louisville, Kentucky. What a lovely time that was. Yeah. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, we did a road gig to a strip club in Louisville, Kentucky. Last time a girl I was seeing was here in the other room recording, so I felt a little bit tight. But now she's not here right now. I could say anything about this strip club in Kentucky. I could say any goddamn thing I want about it, which was strip clubs kind of make me uncomfortable. If she was here, dude, I would fucking be like, I love being around all naked ladies, so that she would know that the big dog. Yeah. But I keep accidentally kicking like a metal thing under the table. But nah, the strip clubs make me uncomfortable because I used to like them when I was younger, like around like 19, like 20 in that age, because I had a friend that was in the military, so he would like take me to the strip clubs and they were fun. And then one time when I was like 25, I got too drunk and then we went to a strip club, and then everyone got into a fight with a bunch of guys, and then I got beat up in the fight, and then I was like, this isn't fun anymore. And ever since then, I've been sort of like the magic of the strip club has kind of gone away. Well, yeah, I feel like people are aggressive at strip clubs. That's the odd thing about them, is that it's just a place to give a bunch of guys blue balls. So yeah, it's not that weird where a bunch of guys are like, I want to beat the shit out of somebody, because they just have all this pent up frustration that is usually at least
possibly going to be let out by hooking up with one of the girls who's been dancing on them, but not at a strip club. That it's become 0%. Usually at a bar, it's at least like 5% that it might happen.
For sure. And yeah, and I got kicked out of the strip club because I got too drunk and fell asleep, and they're like, you can't sleep here. So then when I was like walking to the car, and my friends started yelling at people, and they started yelling back. So I get in the car and put my seatbelt on, and then they opened the car door and pulled me out. So I wasn't even like a threat in there. I wasn't even part of it. And they were just like, nope, this guy that was sleeping, we got to take him out too. So I wasn't prepared. I like to catch me on a day when I'm fully awake. I wouldn't like that actually. But that was the thing. So we went to the strip club. So I was very brave going to this Kentucky strip club. But I also don't drink at this point because the start of me not drinking really starts at me getting beat up at that strip club because I was like, there are consequences to my actions now. I can't just get nearly blackout drunk all the time, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was stone cold sober for the entire thing, and then we were trying to do comedy to people at a strip club who actually don't want you to be funnier than them. Oh, yeah. The guys at the strip club don't want you to be funnier in front of the strippers they're trying to impress. So none of them liked comedy, but sometimes you could have an okay set, and then it was just us for like a whole weekend hanging out with like topless women, like they had like pasties on, right? Yeah, just topless women with pasties on for like 2 whole days, and just hearing about like them and their stripper lives. Yeah. And their number one issue seemed to be that guys would sometimes get too excited and put their fingers in their butts, which they didn't care for, which I would never think to do at the strip club. There's not even, I could have 100 lap dances. I would never think that was a thing that was even on the menu, kind of, you know?
Yeah, they were telling us about their like children and stuff. And honestly, my girlfriend's in the next room, so I can't really talk about my opinion on strip clubs. But you know who can is my cousin, who might just be coming on back. If Mark could just talk for just a second. Ahoy, matey! I heard we were talking about strip clubs here on CFC Confidential. I love strip clubs. I'll tell you, there's no one who dies at a strip club for me, because my penis definitely isn't at half-mast when we're at a strip club. It's at full mast all the time. Ahoy, matey. I sure do love strip clubs. Don't you, Mark?
This is sort of like when they make the little kid talk through a puppet so he can say his true feelings. But you're like, I have to do it through pirate. Because not only is Pat's girlfriend like in the apartment, she's like, I can see her from where I'm sitting. She's like on a couch in another room. But that was a different time, and now that he's met her, Pat hates strip clubs and other naked ladies, right?
Yeah, I only like my girlfriend. Yeah, but not me. Not me. I love strip clubs so much. I've been to one in Binghamton, New York, and I've been to one in Louisville, Kentucky, and they're both very nice, and I like them very much.
Which is odd, because I don't know are those even like cities with ports? You had to really like. You had to like take a ship there, and then I guess wagon your way over to these strip clubs.
Yeah, we are ahoy, matey. I would.
Unless you're like a modern pirate, like a Captain Phillips Somali pirate.
Yeah.
Type. The Somali pirates aren't as cool as the old pirates, right?
No, they're not as cool as us, because they don't try to get treasure. But to answer your question from before, you're right. It would be weird for me to be inland so much, but I just needed to see them titties.
Yeah, they don't get treasure. They just try to get resources that they need, I suppose. It's less like about I want a gold plated sword. I need oil and food from the ships.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I had to step out for a second. I hope the show went all right. For that time that I was gone. But yeah, my opinion on strip clubs is there's really nothing to them. I'm not a fan. I don't need them much. But yeah, that is where we fell in love, though. Me and Travis Grant, and Nick Tillelli and Mark Henley were all there. Me and Travis were having a great time. And part of the reason I was having a great time, to be fair, is because I was the host of the whole thing, and I was like, well, I got to put money into this bar. We were paid a lot of money for those shows, and I had to make sure that everybody was happy, including me and Travis.
Yeah, whereas I'm already kind of like gun shy at the whole strip club thing, and then Nick Tillelli had a girlfriend at the time, so it'd be me and him, and we would like go on a walk and like smoke a little bit of weed and just be kind of like, and just be like, these strippers or whatever, because Nick's so confident, he's like, the strippers seem to mean nothing to him. Yeah, they're not even like interesting to him. He's just like, whatever, they should be paying me or whatever, however he talks. He's like, what am I gonna do with a lap dance? Like he wasn't into it either. So we would just like, we would go on walks around there and then we'd come back to the whole thing. But yeah, that was a very fun trip. And what else should we talk about in this podcast?
Who do we think? Yeah.
Okay.
So who do we think that Matt Maron is going to make fun of the best on the show?
I think there's not a lot of real easy targets on this one. I'm going to go with potentially Malia Simon because she's a nice girl. She's very unassuming and will probably react big if Matt out of nowhere just says something mean to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think one of the girls is going to say the C word, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think people have fun with that word. It's a nice word. I called someone that in like more anger than I usually do. The other day, my girlfriend can attest to that as well, where I like actually felt it in my soul. Usually I say it on roast battles, and it's just as a fun word. It's just a little fun. But the other day I actually used that word in a hateful way, and then I used it for another like a man, like a different like a guy. But that it's funny because calling a woman that is like, she's like a jerk. Calling a guy that is that he is like a pussy, like a piece of shit. Like it's a different meaning. But yeah, I think that Malia and Caroline are ripe for being called a cunt of sorts. Which hey, who hasn't been called that once or twice?
Everyone gets called it once or twice.
At once or twice these days. Yeah. So what else? What else are you thinking?
Hold on, I got nervous at the. Okay, yeah, the show's not till 9:45.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've got it mostly covered for today, right?
We're good.
I think we're good. Guys, thank you for watching. If you watch this, if they didn't watch it, we can't thank them.
No.
Thank you for watching. If you watch this, we want to start doing some guests soon. So if you have anyone that you would like to see on the show, please let us know. Otherwise, please go to Manscaped. They've opted to, advertise on the show pretty long term, so go to Manscaped and do promo code CFC20 if you want 20% off or whatever the deal is. If you want to be hot guys like us, you go to manscaped.com, and we maybe got some new sponsors coming up. Otherwise, Emmaus Theater, watch the show when it drops on Thursday, the regular episode or whatever. And thank you guys for watching.
Later, Gators. Fuck off, piece of shit.